How you doing? David Taub here. Welcome back. And I wanted to go over a few principles that you're going to need to learn on guitar as far as understanding when I say certain terms or terminology. And you might be reading about... We get a lot of emails from students and they're asking, what's this half step, whole step, half semitone, whole tone? I don't understand it. If someone says go down a half step, go up a half step, up a whole step, can you explain that? And it's important because sometimes I find myself as a teacher saying, okay, just go down a half step, and I have to think, ooh, some students might not know what that means. What is a half step? What's a whole step, right? So I want to get these terms out of the way early on so you understand. You got to be able to understand some guitar terminology. Like when we talked about the parts of guitar in earlier modules, you know, these are the frets, this is the nut, and so on and so forth. Now you have to know what some terms mean, okay? So let's go over this, the terminology of steps, okay? Alright, on guitar, a half step is equal to 1 fret, okay? And I'm going to zoom in and show you this. So like if I'm at the 3rd fret, and I say move up a half step, that just means go up to the 4th fret, okay? Or if you're at the 1st fret, and I say go up a half step, you just go to the 2nd fret. If you're at the 5th fret, and I say go down a half step, you descend, or go down to the 4th fret. If you're at the 2nd fret, and I say go down a half step, you go to the 1st step, the 1st fret. If you're on the 2nd fret, go down a half step, go down to the 1st fret. So half step is equal to 1 fret up or down. On guitar, ascending is going up the neck, descending or up the scale, descending is going down. So a half step is equal to 1 fret. You also might hear that also called a semitone. A half step is also called a semitone, which is equal to 1 fret. Okay? Similarly? Is that a word, Tim? I don't even know if that's a word. In a similar manner, a whole step, as you probably can guess, if a half step is 1 fret, a whole step on guitar is equal to 2 frets. So if you're at the 3rd fret and I say go up a whole step, that means you go up from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. See, 2 frets, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 2 frets. If you're at the 3rd fret and I say go down or descend a whole step, you go down to the 1st fret. See, it's 2 frets, this whole step, 2 frets. So whole step is equal to 2 frets, and you can again go up, ascending, or down, descending. Half step is 1 fret, up or down, and you do that with chords, like if we're playing, and I know we haven't got there yet, but just so you know, if I'm playing like an A chord, A major bar chord, then I say go down a whole step, you go 2 frets, which would be a G chord. Go up 2 frets, back to A. Okay, so that's what whole and half step means. You might also hear whole step being referred to as whole tone, much like half step you might hear it called semitone. So whole step is equal to a whole tone, which is equal to 2 frets, up or back on guitar. Okay? And half step is equal to 1 fret, up or back on the guitar. Alright, just so you are comfortable with these terms. This is very important, this concept of whole and half steps. And for instance, like, let me just zoom in a little tight here, and I want to show you, I'm going to play just a little progression for you, and I just want you to watch as I move it. And I'm just going to be moving it a little bit like in half steps or 1 fret at a time as I slide around, and you could hear what I'm talking about by adding these half steps, right? I'll just play a little, I don't know, a little blues or jazz or 1-4-5 kind of thing, but just to give you an example of this, I'll try to get my other fingers out of the way. So if I play something like, first thing I'm going to do is I'm playing a chord, but see how I slide a half step or a semitone, 1 fret. Now I'm not asking you to do this, but I just want you to see how this half steps and whole steps can be used. See that half step slide? Half step. Now when I go to the 4 chord, I'm going to do a half step. See, I'm sliding a half step. Half step. Half steps. See, what I was doing there was I was just moving a progression around half steps at a time. And I'll teach you how to do that when we get to all these chords, because I get that real cool. See, I went down a whole step there. I went down 2 frets, but I hit half. 2 half steps is equal to 1 whole step, right? So I went. Okay, so you get these nice little movements on guitar. So I just want to give you a little example of that just to make it tangible. Okay, so remember whole step and half step, and we're going to learn in the next module or another module, a coming module, more terminology. We'll throw it in here and there just so you can be clear on when we say certain terms, or you could speak the language of music to your friends, to people, or understand what these terms mean when you read them. We'll see you in the next module. Take care and rock on.